It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we have a special edition of the program for you as we recognize Juneteenth in Greater West Bloomfield, a celebration that commemorates the anniversary of the freeing of the final enslaved people in the United States following the Civil War, way down in the heart of Texas. Close to home, we celebrate the anniversary with a fun day of activities that brings together friends of all different backgrounds all across our diverse community. So today, I am in our second studio because we have a very special guest co-host joining us, and we bring in our friends. Of course, when we do that, we put them on the big stage over in Studio A. You have seen her on our live coverage of events such as the Heroes Appreciation Breakfast, special programming for Women's History Month, and of course, right here on the Splash Live. Joining me is Thais Leverett. Thais, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Tyler. I was completely looking forward to today, a very special time in our community where we, again, as you mentioned, we come together to celebrate the history of our country in the way that only West Bloomfield can do it. So I'm completely looking forward to all the activities and fun ahead of us today.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of discussion on the holiday itself, why we celebrate, how we celebrate in Greater West Bloomfield. And Thais has a really unique perspective, you do, because you're a volunteer for this event as well. Pulling double duty today. You're on TV at the beginning, then you're going over there and volunteering. So it's going to be a very fun day. Plenty more with Thais coming up. She and I will be speaking to many of the people involved in today's Juneteenth Jamboree right next door at the Civic Center complex on Walnut Lake Road. You can go out there throughout the morning and even the early afternoon for fun and activities. Here to tell us more is the third member of our broadcast team today. Jake Schaff joins us live at the West Bloomfield Civic Center. Jake, what's going on out there?
Hey, Tyler. Hey, Thais. Good morning to both of you. It is a great day here in West Bloomfield. It is time for the Juneteenth Jamboree here in West Bloomfield. You can take a look behind me. Everybody is setting up. People are showing up. Everybody is here to have a great day. Now, of course, if you've been paying attention to the weather, you know that we're expecting a little more rain today than I think a lot of people would have liked to see. But that is not going to stop things here at West Bloomfield Parks at all. They have moved all of the festivities inside. Everyone is still going to be having a great time mingling and chatting with everybody. We got great food, great entertainment. You could probably already hear the music has started. It's going to be a fantastic day, and we're going to be having some great entertainment later on. So plenty of chances for everybody to come on down and check out the fun.
Yeah, Jake, way out in the background there, it does look like it's quite bright outside. The sun trying to peer in here and there. Have you got any indication that what was planned to mostly be outside may still, at least in part, be outside, or is all this going to now be inside the Recreation Activity Center and other facilities?
Obviously, things can still change later on. Maybe the weather will clear up and we will eventually move outside. I do know that probably the dance performances will still be taking place outside on the big stage, so everybody can take a look there. But there's going to be so many opportunities for fun here, and no matter whether it's indoors or outdoors, everybody's going to be having a great day.
It is. It's going to be a lot of fun out at the Civic Center complex in West Bloomfield. For those filing into town today, driving in, you're listening on 89.3 Lakes FM and want to check out our local Juneteenth celebration. The West Bloomfield Civic Center complex is located on Walnut Lake Road, in between Orchard Lake Road and Farmington, in the heart of West Bloomfield Township. Jake, we'll have you back with us all throughout the program today for the latest fun and activities happening over at the Recreation Activity Center, the West Bloomfield Library, and of course, outside in the parking lot as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyler.
Jake Schaff, a third member of our team, live on site today at the West Bloomfield Juneteenth Jamboree put on by the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. And joining me on the program today, our co-host today, Thais Leverett, a member of that task force. This is a really important day, Thais, for the task force, for the community, and really for the entire country, as it is on its on-site historically, and of course, as we celebrate in the modern era, a celebration of freedom and community.
It is, absolutely, Tyler, and it's important for our communities to take the time and be intentional about how we celebrate this day. Not only does it recognize the final, I guess, complete freedom of those enslaved here in the United States and the notification thereof. If you are a student of history and of this day in particular, you'll know that the issuance of slavery being ended was not communicated until about a year later. And so that's what we're celebrating today. And also celebrating the fact that we can recognize as a country, maybe our history has not been perfect, but we can take the time out to now acknowledge that and then to find a way to come together to celebrate that.
And learn about how this history helps inform our present as well. And we think about a community like Greater West Bloomfield, Thais, with so many different cultural, ethnic, religious backgrounds, so many people that were born in the U.S. and moved to West Bloomfield, have had multiple generations of their family in our community, have immigrated here over the years. All that ultimately does get celebrated when you are thinking about the freedom of people in the United States, and certainly thinking about those who were finally liberated out of enslavement back in the late 1860s, which is why we celebrate Juneteenth, a celebration of the final freeing of enslaved people in the state of Texas. And West Bloomfield does it in a pretty unique way. Many communities have started to have Juneteenth events in recent years, but the Diversity Task Force has some pretty specific goals when they put on the Juneteenth Jamboree and as they've grown it over the years. How does that factor into our local celebration?
Yeah, so in our local celebration, we want to make sure that we are celebrating and amplifying the efforts of people right here in the West Bloomfield community. So you'll see local vendors, whether they're artisans or they're bringing a performance to the community. So we want to celebrate that, of course. Also, Henry Ford Health is always a big partner for this event, making sure that we're highlighting the ways that you can remain and stay healthy in the West Bloomfield community and all the resources that are available to us as well. We also want to highlight the youth in our community, so we often have high schoolers do performances, read poetry, display their art, and then of course West Bloomfield Public Library is also a huge partner. They will often have displays of hand-picked books where you can learn more about the history of Juneteenth, the history of African Americans in this country, or just read some fun novels that are fictional stories celebrating our culture and our legacy. So you have a culmination of so many people in the West Bloomfield community who want to celebrate, embrace our history and heritage, celebrate one another, and you're seeing that all come together at this event today.
Yeah, so many different events and learning experiences. You mentioned the library will have special reading over there for kids and for families. The Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society will have a presentation on some of the first Black residents of the Greater West Bloomfield community and their historical impact on Greater West Bloomfield as well. So there's plenty to learn, plenty to celebrate, and lots of fun over at the West Bloomfield Civic Center complex. But Thais, before we get to that, I want to dive in a little bit into the Diversity Task Force. We've had some recent conversations that were really fun with that team.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the Diversity Task Force is completely focused on doing just that, making sure that we know that here in West Bloomfield that everyone belongs, everyone is celebrated, and we look to have a robust calendar throughout the year that does that very thing, making sure that we know who's here in the community, ways to learn more about each other, putting on different events. Again, Juneteenth we're celebrating today. There's more events planned throughout the year to celebrate and highlight the diversity that's here in West Bloomfield.
Well, the Juneteenth Jamboree is the culmination of a collaborative effort of volunteers from the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force, which works year-round to organize major celebrations like today's Juneteenth Jamboree over at the Town Hall Complex. Civic Center TV's Kevin McIntosh recently spoke with the chairperson for the 2025 Juneteenth Jamboree, Dr. Kimberly Matthews, for a look behind the scenes of today's festivities. Here's their conversation.
How you doing, Dr. Matthews?
I'm doing well. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing just great. Just happy to have you here and just talk about this event overall. But now you're taking on the role of chairperson for this event. So just tell me and tell us, what inspired you to take on the role of chairperson for the Juneteenth Jamboree in West Bloomfield?
Well, I had two great mentors. Currently, Amy Mendel is my mentor in this role. And in the past, We had Sherry Ann Winters, who was leading the Juneteenth and in the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. So those two women inspired me to take on this role.
Well, good. And it seems like a great transition from great mentorship onto you now. You seem very excited for it, and it's great to look forward to as well. I know I was part of, the broadcast and some of the activities, and seemed like a lot to look forward to. But I will say, or I should say ask, how does the Juneteenth Jamboree align with the goals and the missions of the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force?
So the goals of the task force is to unite our community, our cultures, and it aligns really well with it. And so we are always looking to invite all cultures, and that's what we have. As far as on the planning committee, we have all cultures. And so we are looking for connections with each other and our neighbors.
And see, this is a huge event, first and foremost. I love that we're celebrating this in our diverse community, I should say. But this is an annual event, and it's a huge event. It's a lot of different moving parts as well. You taking on chairperson, it's a lot going on. So can you share, if you don't mind, some of the challenges and the successes that you've experienced while organizing this year's event?
Definitely. The challenges for me, I'm from the medical world, and the challenges for me have been the spreadsheets and the budgets.
Okay.
So that was very challenging. The success is that I have a wonderful team with West Bloomfield Parks, West Bloomfield Library, West Bloomfield Township, and community volunteers. So wherever there are gaps for me, they fill in. And so it's just been a seamless experience for me.
And that's good. Great to hear as well that you have all the resources and help that you need when it comes to organizing and getting this event together. Something that we're looking forward to once again. And joining me right here live on The Splash, by the way, chairperson for the Juneteenth West Bloomfield event, Dr. Kimberly Matthews, just talking about the Jamboree and all the it coming together overall. So while I do have you here, I'd be remiss if we didn't at least say this. Can you just give out the details of the event, the who, what, where, when, and why real quick as well?
Yes, on Thursday, June 19th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., we will be having the Motor City Dance. We'll have speakers at the library. We will have the West Bloomfield School District Theater Department doing monologues. And one of the things that we're trying this year would be cultural line dances with fans.
Hey.
And we're going to pass out fans as takeaways. And so we're hoping that you'll come out and have fun. It's a free, fun family event, and we look forward to seeing everyone out.
Now, I want to ask, as someone who's organizing this event, why do you feel like it's important for members of the diverse community right here in Greater West Bloomfield to all experience this Juneteenth Jamboree, and talk about the things you want them to learn from it?
So the enslaved people of the United States were given their freedom on June 19th in 1865. And the first year after that, it was a huge celebration. So the thing that unites us all is freedom. And we're all enjoying the freedom of being here in the United States. And we just want to share that experience and joy with each other.
Right. And glad you said that. And like I said, I'm glad that we have members of the community from all different backgrounds and ethnicities that can come together and learn from each other. We just had an example of that with the Chaldean Cultural Community Center, everyone coming together and celebrating and supporting each other, and we love to see this as well. So how have local schools right here in West Bloomfield and youth organizations been involved in the planning or even the execution of the event?
So for our West Bloomfield School District, they have been involved from the beginning. And this year they will be doing the monologues on stage at 1 o'clock. And we have them in the past. Last year they did artwork for us. We will be involving them more in the future as far as planning. And so they're definitely involved.
Right, right. And I want to kind of go back real quick. I just got a note from our producers. We briefly spoke about Sherry Ann Winter. She did pass away, unfortunately, but her spirit moves on, right? So if you do, can you just tell us how you plan to incorporate her passion, her love for the Diversity Task Force in this event overall into this event for this year?
So in the past, like at the Black Expo, we had a poster honoring Sherry Ann, and that was Ron Johnson. And so hopefully he will have something similar when he comes out with his group, the VET group and the Tuskegee Airmen. And so, and we will also give a moment of tribute to her during the event also.
Oh, okay. That's good. I'm glad I asked that. Our producers are on it and our team as well. So we don't want to hold you up too much longer. I definitely thank you so much for not only organizing this event, but taking the time to come on here. How do you envision the Juneteenth Jamboree evolving in the coming years to continue promoting awareness and unity?
The way that I see it evolving is to continue to bring in different age groups. And so we have the diversity as far as ethnicity, but we don't have a lot of young people on the planning committee. So I'm hoping that we can get more young people so that this can be a sustainable event, more artists and more creative types.
Interesting. And I wasn't aware of that as well, but I've been seeing and hearing about that more and more, having the youth involved in more of these organizations and more of these, establishment. That way we can make sure that we're passing the torch and then they are actually, seeing how we do things and, just evolving it from there. So I appreciate that. Lastly, before we go, for the people who may have just joined us, the where, when, and why of the Juneteenth event one more time.
Okay, so the Juneteenth event will be Thursday, June 19th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Civic Center of West Bloomfield on Walnut Road. And the why is to celebrate Juneteenth with your neighbors and your community.
That's right. Thank you again for that information, and we are looking forward to seeing you out there with the entire team to celebrate Juneteenth right here in West Bloomfield. Chairperson for Juneteenth in West Bloomfield, Dr. Kimberly Matthews, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
A little bit of a look inside the behind the scenes putting on the 2025 Juneteenth Jamboree. Thais, a big volunteer effort being led by Dr. Matthews and the team.
Definitely. I'd love to see her fan at the end. And I also will second the sentiment about Ms. Sherry Ann Winter. She was a dear friend of mine as well, and such an impactful person in the West Bloomfield community whose memory continues to live on through events like we're celebrating today. But to again remind you one more time, the 2025 Juneteenth celebration is underway right now, running through 2:00 p.m. at the West Bloomfield Civic Center, and that is located on Walnut Lake between Orchard Lake and Farmington Road. Now, if you happen to be tuning in after the event, please continue to stay tuned here for more information about next year's celebration. It's going to be even bigger and better, and you can find that information on wbparks.org.
Yes, Thais, and wbparks.org/diversity for even more on the Diversity Task Force. Of course, a partnership between Parks, the Township, the Library, the West Bloomfield School District, and so many other organizations and individuals like you who are volunteering to help spread the good word of diversity and inclusion in our community with so many people of all different walks of life. One of the leading partners supporting the celebration of Juneteenth in the Greater West Bloomfield area is, of course, the West Bloomfield School District, supporting enriching learning opportunities at today's event and all throughout the year, and helping our young people embrace a variety of people from all walks of life all throughout the school year and beyond. Here to tell us more about these efforts is the Executive Director of Educational Equity and Inclusion from the West Bloomfield School District, Sonia James. Sonia, thank you so much for joining us once again on our 2025 Juneteenth Jamboree special.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here and to share what we're doing in the West Bloomfield Schools. So thank you for having me.
And the schools play a huge role in helping to inform about not only the history behind days like Juneteenth, but why that history is so important to us today and in a community like West Bloomfield that happily embraces its diversity? How do you manage that relationship between your office and the school district, the educators, and of course, the students having heavy involvement?
Well, that's a great question. It takes all of us as a community to make this work. In West Bloomfield, that's one of the things that we pride ourselves on as a district, just making sure that educators have exactly what they need in terms of information, resources, and support, as well as our students. We are a very diverse community. We are a very diverse school district. And to honor, acknowledge, to celebrate, to inform everyone is our ultimate responsibility as an educational institution. So it is huge for us to be a part of the diversity task force so that not only are we celebrating Juneteenth, but we are also acknowledging and honoring and celebrating the diversity within our community. And who's our school district? Our community members. So it is just it's a revolving door. You know, as kids come in to the school district, as kids move into the community, it is one of those things that we want to make sure that everyone sees themselves in all that we do. They know that they're valued, they know that they're heard, and they know that we care about them individually and collectively.
Thank you so much for that message.
Yeah.
You know, I know that we, living in today's society, know that there are significant changes with how we're celebrating diversity, how that has impacted the educational system, and you've been able to successfully navigate a lot of those things. Can you share a little bit more about what that journey has been like for you, in particular, bringing us to celebrate Juneteenth here today?
I would say that we have a very supportive district. We have a very supportive community, which makes my role a whole lot easier to navigate that. It doesn't mean that it doesn't come with some hiccups along the way, but what it does mean is that we put our students and we put our community members and we put that on the forefront of all that we do. So the things that are in the best interest of each and every student that collectively supports all of our students, whether it's in our curriculum, whether it's through our arts, in our music, and the things that we do, our athletics, we want to make sure that we have something for everyone. And to ensure that it is opening up and educating each other about each other, if that makes sense. And it's a large part of my role in terms of supporting teachers with resources, supporting teachers with professional learning, meeting with parents, having organizations such as the Diversity Task Force, where we have a presence in that we can learn from the Diversity Task Force has an insight to what we're doing in schools. And we also have an insight as to what we're doing in the community. So it's that dual role. And it's not one in isolation, it's what we do collectively. And that's what makes West Bloomfield so unique. That's what's so unique about us.
Absolutely, I agree. I have been living in West Bloomfield since 2014. Maybe 15, I'm getting old.
Okay.
But that is one thing that I celebrate so much about our community. I mean, you can have a friend of a multitude of different cultures, but more importantly, you can eat food from a multitude of different cultures right here in West Bloomfield. And it's been such a joy to see my kids move through the West Bloomfield school system. I have 2 graduates of West Bloomfield High School. I have someone entering into the middle school. I'm terrified. I'll be calling you, Dr. James, every day. But if you could share a little bit more with us about some of the things that you see on the horizon for students in the diversity space. What are you looking to do when the school year resumes? Are there certain programs that you're thinking about, and how we as community members can support your efforts?
That's a great question. And that's something that I'm taking the summer to work and plan. But we do have a group at the high school, Voice of Equality. That's a group of students at the high school that they go into the elementaries and they do a lot of inclusive and diversity work with the students and teaching students on how to create that sense of belonging early on and how to respect and honor the different religions that we have in the district, the different ethnic groups that we have, the different beliefs that, that all come together. And when I think about us as a district, it's continuing the work, it's continuing to stand in on the belief that we are a district that believes in our students, that we're going to do what's best for our students. And we are a district that respects, honors, celebrate diversity, inclusion within our school district, in creating that sense of belonging, having a place, again, I'm going to continue to say, where every student knows that they're seen, that they're heard, that they're valued for who they are. And whoever walks through the school doors, that in all that we do, that we're being inclusive and not excluding anyone, and having a place for each and every one in our district.
Absolutely. Well, that sentiment comes across very
Yes.
clear in West Bloomfield
Thank
School
you.
District, and thank you for your efforts in that space.
Absolutely. And how you can support as a community member is to continue to support different programs and celebrations such as this, as well as coming into our district to help honor and celebrate and learn more about what it is we truly do on a daily basis for all of our students.
Sonia James is with us, the Executive Director of Educational Equity and Inclusion in West Bloomfield School District, and joining us today as we celebrate Juneteenth in the Greater West Bloomfield area and all across the United States. Here in West Bloomfield, we celebrate, of course, with a Juneteenth Jamboree. Sonia and her team from the school district, one of many organizations helping out today to spread the good word about Juneteenth and celebrate freedom here in our community as well. Sonia, you've mentioned some of the ways that the school district incorporates diversity education into its curriculum. I'd imagine on a day like today, it's really easy to incorporate the historical elements of this and the celebration into that education. But how do you take it in a different direction when you don't have something that is catapulting the conversation like the celebration of Juneteenth or the West Bloomfield annual Black Expo or another event to still connect the students into this melting pot of a community that we have here in Greater West Bloomfield?
And that's when I talk about that belonging piece and that inclusivity, it's bringing in those resources for our staff members. It's the professional learning that we have that's specific to how do we continue to be culturally responsive to all of our students, culturally responsive in all of our the videos that we may show, the textbooks, that being very intentional in the textbooks and the literature that we read, so that it does not exclude any or it highlights one specific group, but it is inclusive of all. And when we have celebrations that honors and respects the different cultural groups within our school district, it is promoting each and every one equitably. And monthly, we put out a monthly some more for our staff members. And in that monthly some more, it talks about the different celebrations that acknowledges our students' background. And I also leave it open so that I have the title of Executive Director of Equity and Inclusion, but I'm not the only one that has expertise in the different backgrounds. So I leave it open that if parents see that I didn't highlight one of a group, or if there's some things that would add value to it, it's open so that I continue to learn more and help our staff learn more and help our students to be honored and celebrated the same way and recognized. And it's about the, it's exposure, it's the learning, and it's having an open mind to the world around us, and it's having an open mind to each and every student. And again, as a district, it's our responsibility to ensure that every student is seen, valued, and heard.
It's tough to understand something that you're not aware of. That's part of what education is all about. Sonia, I want to thank you for your time today, joining Thais and I on this special edition of the Splash Live. Anything else you'd like to say as we celebrate Juneteenth in Greater West Bloomfield?
I would just like to say to the community, come on out, celebrate, learn more about Juneteenth. There are different vendors here. There's a lot, even though we're indoors, we're a little more intimate this year, but the celebration continues. So we welcome each and every one with open arms to come out and celebrate with us today. Let's celebrate freedom, liberation, and justice in West Bloomfield. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Sonia James, the Executive Director of Educational Equity and Inclusion, joining us from the West Bloomfield School District on today's edition of the Splash Live. For more information on the West Bloomfield School District and their efforts to help celebrate our diversity in the Greater West Bloomfield area, you can visit their website on wbsd.org and follow them across social media at West Bloomfield Schools. As Sonia mentioned, as Thais and I have discussed already, plenty of fun activities are on the docket for today's Juneteenth Jamboree at the Civic Center complex. Here for more of some of the fun games and activities and learning experience that we'll have at the Civic Center complex, we go back out live to Civic Center TV's Jake Schaff. Jake.
Hey, Tyler. Hey, Thais. Back with you live at the Juneteenth Jamboree celebration right here with West Bloomfield Parks. And I'm joined right now by one of the big creative minds behind this incredible event, West Bloomfield Parks Commissioner Amy Mindell. Amy, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for talking to us about this event today.
Really, really happy to be here, and I could tell the entire community is happy as well. What have you seen so far from families and residents and everyone that's been stopping by?
It's just a great feeling of community. You know, here in West Bloomfield, we have such a diverse, warm, supportive community. And we wanted this event from its inception back in 2021 to both mirror and nurture and encourage the feeling of our great community here in West Bloomfield. The turnout today is just wonderful. We see families, we see young people, we see all ages coming out and just happy to be a part of our community here.
I'd imagine so. So many big smiling faces out here today. Of course, what Mother Nature did throw a bit of a wrench into the plans. We do have quite a bit of rain on the forecast today, but you guys have been able to navigate it pretty well. How is that gone with everything?
Well, I have to give all the credit to the Parks and Rec staff here under Director Kelly Heyer and her team. Crystal, Ashley, they just were on the move starting last night as they watched the weather forecast through a text early this morning, emails going out early this morning, and then that game time decision at about 9 a.m. to move it in. Just the teamwork and the planning. I have to say, I am biased because I am a Parks Commissioner, but I have seen up close the way this team works, the way they function, the way they operate. They are just a fantastic team. And I'm not just saying that. It's very impressive.
I know they've been putting in a lot of hard work. And you said that this event has been going on since 2021. How have you seen this really, the Juneteenth Jamboree, how have you seen it really grow throughout the last few years and immerse itself in the West Bloomfield community?
That is such a great question. You know, when my original group, which is called Juneteenth in the WB, came up with this idea, it was before Juneteenth was a federal holiday. And at that time, we came up with this event and started talking with the township officials, with the school district, with the library, with parks. It was embraced immediately. It was the first Juneteenth event in this area and obviously the first in West Bloomfield. There was a township proclamation put together that year by Treasurer Terry Weingarten that was passed unanimously to honor Juneteenth Day, and now it is not an official working day. The original event was in the high school parking lot. The West Bloomfield School District was a great partner, and all of our community partners turned out to support us. But we were just a bunch of tables in the high school parking lot. So growing to this kind of community effort spearheaded by Parks and the library is just so encouraging, and it really is uplifting.
Awesome. And last question before we wrap things up. Once everything is said and done here, once everybody heads home, what do you hope is the biggest thing that every person takes away from what they've seen here today?
That is actually an easy question because for me, this is all about community. This is about building our community. This is about supporting one another in this community. And this is about showing how West Bloomfield embraces diversity, embraces togetherness, supporting one another through whatever comes ahead.
Awesome. Couldn't think of any better way to phrase it. Amy, thank you so much for joining us here on the Splash Live.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Of course, all great things and all big smiles here at the Juneteenth Jamboree celebration today. I'll be here throughout the rest of the show, tackling even more people and talking to more people and getting their thoughts on the whole event. Back to you guys.
Appreciate it, Jake, and appreciate all the information that you're going to be giving us throughout the show today about some of the activities and, of course, the behind the scenes going into the Juneteenth Jamboree here in Greater West Bloomfield. We're going to take a short break on this special edition of the Splash Live. On the other side, more discussions with leaders across the Greater West Bloomfield area behind the Juneteenth Jamboree. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live. We'll be right back on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
Hi, I'm Chris Fry, Park Superintendent, West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. Thank you for all you do in the community, and thank you for having me on The Splash throughout the season to talk about activities out in the parks. Chris Fry, proud to be 1 in a million.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, welcome back to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Ty East Leverett.
Thanks, Tyler. Again, excited to be here for today's events. And as we know, the 2025 Juneteenth Jamboree features a wealth of vendors that includes many of Greater West Bloomfield's Black-owned small businesses. Now, we're excited to talk to our next guest. After over 30 years working as a nurse, this individual made a move from healthcare to self-care, helping local residents achieve their perfect look with natural and clean products. So we've got Stacy Brown. She's the owner of Canoony Brown, a featured sponsor this year, and especially a featured sponsor of our event in its entirety. And she joins us now on the Splash Live. Stacy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here and being a part of this celebration.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit more about what Canoony Brown is. I'm also interested in hearing what Canoony means as you explain to us what you do with your skincare and your business.
Yes. Thank you for that. So I'm Stacy Brown, the CEO and owner of Canoony Brown Hair Care Products, and I am a registered nurse, as you mentioned, and also turned hair care formulator during the pandemic when the salons closed down, and a lot of us did not know what to do with our hair. And so I created products that are not just safe for my family and friends, but also for the community. So I consider myself a first responder that rescues damage in dry hair and protects it from the risks that cause damage. And I started my business in 2022, and we're just growing by leaps and bounds. And so I'm here. Oh, Canoony stands for, is Swahili for principles. And so I stand on the principles of wellness, clean beauty, which is not just good for your hair, it's good for your health, and it's good for the planet. And so I stand on those principles and community.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that background. And now I have, of course, 1,000 questions because obviously hair care is a big thing for all of us.
Yes, ma'am.
But let me start with asking, so when you first decided to start this hair care business, did you come up with the formulas for the products yourself? Did you kind of test them at home and combine natural ingredients? So tell us a little bit more about how that evolved for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we were searching, talking about my family and friends and all of us, we were having tangling and shedding hair, during the pandemic, all of these hair problems. And so we didn't know what products were safe on the shelf. We didn't know what to buy. So I started doing a lot of research, and I went to formulation school, and that's where I learned how to make different products, shampoos, conditioners, all kinds of things, styling gels. And so I started making them in my kitchen and making little prototypes, giving them out to family and friends. They absolutely loved them and said, you should be selling this and letting the community experience what you're doing. And so that's what I did. And so out of the kitchen and now into the community, and just building brand awareness of what we're doing here for the community and saving and rescuing people, not just their hair, but their health.
Wonderful. Can you tell us more specifically what lives in your product lineup? Is it shampoo, conditioner? Are there scalp treatments? What do you have for us to get?
Yeah, so we have very gentle pH balanced shampoos that won't strip your hair out of oils, very moisturizing. And we also have conditioners. We have leave-in conditioners that are very lightweight, that won't weigh your hair down. We also have unscented products for people who have skin sensitivities, as well as products that smell amazing. Some of our customers really love the smell, as well as the effectiveness of our products. So they really detangle really well. They are also heat protectant, so they guard against pollution in the air, things that people don't think about, pollution, sun that can actually help damage your hair too, wind, extreme temperatures, all of that. So our products are gentle, but they're very effective in protecting your hair against the elements. And even if you're wearing protective styles like wigs, weaves, braids, you still need to protect your hair as much as possible. So we go the extra mile outside of even all natural and all organic, because our products are clean beauty. And the essence of clean beauty means that it's made with ingredients that won't harm you, won't harm your health, and won't harm the planet. It is beauty with a purpose.
That's great. That's great. And of course, as we're celebrating today, our diversity in our community in West Bloomfield, your products, I'm sure, could be suitable for all hair types, all hair textures. And I got to ask, do you have something for the gentlemen in the community? I'm sure they might want to know as well.
Of course, and thank you. That's an excellent question, because we often, don't think as men, using beauty products the way that we do. But my husband, my son's a hairdresser, so he uses the products. He uses it with his clients. They just love them. And recently, we've had more men purchasing our products. They're really good for beards and softening hair. They smell good. Some of the products, the ones that have the smell, are pretty unisex. So they smell good, and we help you look good and just soften those beards and that hair. So.
Stacey Brown is with us, the CEO of Canoony Brown, one of the featured sponsors of the 2025 West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force Juneteenth Jamboree. You can see her and the entire Canoony Brown team at the West Bloomfield Civic Center complex today through 2 p.m. And learn more about the sponsors and the event on wbparks.org/diversity. Stacey, looking through your website, of course, all the information on your products is there. You mentioned in your slogan, powered by nature, proven by science. But right before that, you have rooted in tradition. This is something that ties you back to some of your family history as well. Tell us about that.
That's right. I'm inspired also by my grandma Emma. She had her very own salon built onto the back of her house by my grandfather. But it wasn't just another beauty salon, it was a sanctuary for the women of the community who wanted to come and feel beautiful, but also cared for. And so my grandma Emma, she had her own recipes and she nurtured the community. And it was just a vibrant, colorful, where men and women came and we just chatted about, all kinds of things happening in the community. And I always love that feeling. So my heart for community and wellness and nurturing just stems from my grandma Emma.
And that's a big part of beauty and hair care and so many other forms of self-care too, is that it used to be in our communities that those places like our hair salons or barber shops and other gathering places, that's where we got to know our neighbors and we got to connect with them. And especially in a community like ours, people of all different backgrounds, all different walks of life. It's a chance today at the Juneteenth Jamboree to bring that tradition back across our community as we celebrate one of the greatest days and accomplishments in our country's history and of course in the freedom that we celebrate in the United States as we recognize Juneteenth.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful place to be right now. You can hear the music that's right outside the door and everybody's celebrating and everybody's coming together and supporting each other. And that's the environment that I grew up. That's the community that I came to love. And even today, I just love supporting, other businesses and just really celebrating our history and culture. So this is a wonderful day for me to be a part of and to have my business sponsor, Canuni Brown, with the Diversity Task Force.
And Stacey, lastly, before we let you go, you mentioned that this was sort of something that came together during the throes of the pandemic in 2020 where we couldn't connect with each other. We couldn't get together in person. So now, 5 years later, with Canuni Brown not only here but thriving and supporting our community events, how does it feel for you and for your team to now be able to not only continue to support this business that has that familial connection to you, that passion that you put behind it, but to also directly connect with people here in your community?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things that I love is really going out and touching the community, not just always being behind, just being online. I love getting out and talking to people and just hearing, what makes them passionate about the community. What can I do to support others, through my business or through, personally, what can I do to support others? And, wherever there's community events such as this, I love to be there and just nurture. And I'm just a rescue and protector, a community person by nature. So here we are 5 years later. So I'm getting out more, spreading the word about what we need to do to continue to uplift and move, our culture forward and how we can, make a great impact in the community. I love that. And that's what I'm most passionate about.
Well, Stacey, we appreciate your time and appreciate you joining us today on the Splash Live to tell us more. We'll let you get back out to the people as we're just underway as we do this live show from the Juneteenth Jamboree for 2025. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. It's been an honor.
Always glad to talk to people making a difference in our community and supporting these big community events. Thai East, really such a great effort from our community to put this together, and those sponsors play such a huge role.
Absolutely. And, I'm very excited to get back out there over to the event after spending time in here with you, Tyler. But especially supporting our vendors and supporting our local businesses is a key component of this Juneteenth event. So if you want to learn more about Stacey's business, about Canuni Brown, you can visit their website. Once again, it's canunibrown1.com. And of course, you can follow them on Instagram at Canuni Brown. So we are going to take a short break, but there is plenty more from our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force Juneteenth Jamboree still ahead. After this, coming up right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
And now, back to the Splash, live.
Live, local, social, welcome back to the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Thais Leverett for this special Juneteenth Jamboree edition of the program, and we thank you for joining us today, both here on the show and over at the Juneteenth Jamboree at the Civic Center complex right next door. The third member of our team, Jake Schaff, is out there with even more information on the festivities today. Jake, what's going on?
Hey guys, I'm back here live at the Juneteenth Jamboree celebration, and I'm joined by Executive Chef Chris Lachey, the Food and Nutrition Services with Henry Ford Health. Chris, thank you so much for joining me.
It's my absolute pleasure.
So you guys are bringing a lot of yummy food and a lot of great vibes to this event. What is it like to be helping out for the Juneteenth celebration here in West Bloomfield?
Well, it's actually really cool. It gives me an opportunity to share some of the cool things that we're doing in Henry Ford Health System, food and nutrition wise.
Awesome. That's really, really great to hear. And what you guys are doing, what kind of food do you have for everybody here at this event today?
So we're sharing some of the chef-driven recipes that we make for our patients at West Bloomfield Hospital. We have a vegan bolognese, we have a pineapple mango whip, and a lemon blueberry cake.
You are making me so hungry right now, which is always a very dangerous thing for a news anchor to get angry, or to get hungry, I'm sorry. But can't wait to try all that in just a second. But what does it mean to you personally to be helping out with an event like this and to be seeing all the smiling faces today?
You meant to say hangry.
That's absolutely right.
Well, it means a lot to me because Juneteenth is a representation of progress. And as I look around this room, it's really cool to see that it's not just made up of one demographic, but West Bloomfield is a combination of many smiling faces of different cultures. So it means a lot to me.
Awesome. And last question before we wrap things up, what do you just hope is the biggest thing everybody takes away from being here today?
I hope that they take away that in West Bloomfield Hospital and Henry Ford Health System as a whole, our focus is always on the whole patient, and we're trying to drive that from a food and nutrition perspective.
Well, it's great everything you guys are doing to help that initiative. Chris, thank you so much for joining me.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course, lots of great things and lots of great vibes here at the Juneteenth Jamboree celebration. Back to you guys in the studio.
Appreciate it, Jake. The West Bloomfield Juneteenth Jamboree, of course, a celebration led by a group of dedicated volunteers, a group that works all throughout the year to connect the melting pot of cultures that makes Greater West Bloomfield special, Thais.
Absolutely. And among the volunteers and community leaders involved in this diversity task force is West Bloomfield Township trustee Vincent Kirkwood, who joins us now on the Splash Live. Vincent, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's good to be back.
So again, we're back for another year, as you mentioned, celebrating Juneteenth in West Bloomfield. Tell us a little bit more about this year. Does it have a different feel, a different energy? What's different about the 2025 celebration?
Well, the energy is still heightened. The only I don't even want to say a challenge is that I mentioned it earlier in my speech is that we're inside this year. Mother Nature wanted us inside, and that's okay. But we're still celebrating. We still have live music. We still have entertainment. We still have food. We still have sponsors. It's a great day. It feels good. It feels good to be able to do this. Not just do this, but do this in West Bloomfield. So everyone feels great about it.
Absolutely, and I think being indoors maybe adds a little more family feel to the event. So we'll call it that for this year.
That's right.
Is there anything in particular that you're looking forward to, the performances? What's kind of your favorite part of the Juneteenth event in West Bloomfield?
You know what? I shouldn't say this, but it is the food. my son is with me. He's 7, and he's like, "Can we get some Hungry Howie's?" I'm like, "Well, we got some spaghetti from in before. We got ice cream here. The food is fantastic. So we're excited about that. We're excited to eat. We're excited that sponsors in West Bloomfield thought enough of the Juneteenth and the WB to come out and provide food for the guests and things like that. So the DJ is playing, the music is great. I'm looking forward to the performances from the Motor City Dance Factory. It just feels really good today to be here in West Bloomfield celebrating. And as you mentioned, it's like a family affair because we're inside, so a lot of us are closer to each other than we would be if we were outdoors. But it feels really good.
Vincent Kirkwood joins us on the Splash Live from the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. He's also one of our West Bloomfield Township trustees, and Vincent, having currently been being a trustee, having previously been on the Parks and Recreation Commission, you're involved in so many volunteer efforts in our community. It's really tough to find anything, especially today, where all different areas of government sort of agree on something and come together. And this is a great example of that. The Township Board, the library, Parks and Recreation, our volunteer community, our school district. Talk about just that widespread community support from all these different organizations and all these different groups of leaders and how that converges to make a day like today special as we celebrate Juneteenth.
Well, Tyler, you nailed it. It wouldn't be as successful as it has been over the last 2 years if it wasn't for the community support. And when I say community support, I mean those folks you mentioned, like the library, the township. I see police here. I see different small businesses here. I see representation from the West Bloomfield schools. Everyone coming together. And to be honest with you, I don't recall being at an event where everyone of those sectors that I just named comes together. And this Juneteenth celebration represents that. When I started this task force back in 2000, I believe it was 19 or 20, this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted an opportunity for all of those people that we mentioned to come together and to show the support and the pride in our township. And it's great to be able to I'm on my scooter with my 7-year-old, and we just scooter down to the Civic Center area and celebrate Juneteenth. We don't have to go to, nothing against Detroit, but we don't have to go to Detroit. We don't have to go to Bloomfield. We don't have to go to Farmington. We can do this right here in our township and have representation from all of those residents, volunteers, township library, police, fire, all of them. It feels really, really good to be able to do that.
Well, Vincent, it's also a great opportunity, too, for us to take a reflection back. We talked a little bit about this with Stacey Brown as she talked about her business, which began in the pandemic. The task force, of course, beginning a couple years following the COVID-19 pandemic. But we've seen events like the Black Expo, which we have earlier on in the year, and certainly the Juneteenth Jamboree grow over the years. How proud are you to see how this has not only gone from being an event that was put on by an upstart task force, a grassroots task force in our community, to now be something that's so widely embraced across every corner of Greater West Bloomfield?
It's amazing. When I, as you mentioned, when I started this back in the task force back in 2019 or 20, the thought behind it was everyone coming together to celebrate the differences. And Juneteenth happens to be one of those celebrations of all of us coming together. We also have other events in the township that take place that represent all of us, but to be able to see it happen today with Juneteenth is fantastic. And we're hoping that we can do other events similar to this. And when I say similar, the support from the community, the excitement that's around it, the volunteers, the people that are coming out. It's fantastic to see. It's great to see. And it's what I envisioned a couple years back when we started this diversity task force. And to be honest with you, Juneteenth, I mentioned my son a couple of times, Juneteenth was not celebrated when I was 7 years old. So for him to be able to experience this, I see a lot of other little kids. He wants to get his face painted, ice cream, all kinds of coloring activities. This is what the township is about, and this is what I wanted when I said that I wanted to celebrate the differences within the community.
And it's exactly what we think about when we think about the freedom that was fought for those people that we're celebrating today, and those people that were the final enslaved persons in Texas to be freed on this day, just after the end of the Civil War. In the late 1800s, and now today we get to celebrate as a full community and have a great time and such fun with all different people of all different walks of life in Greater West Bloomfield. Vincent, thank you so much for your time today, and congratulations on another successful event in 2025.
Thank you both so much. I appreciate you having me, and thank you for mentioning the meaning of Juneteenth. And the reason we're celebrating today is that now we, as African Americans, are freed. And I believe it was in 1865 where we were freed lastly in Texas. So thank you for mentioning that.
A lot of sacrifice went into our ability to be able to celebrate today as a community. So important to understand the history as well. Thais, we've had a lot of fun today as we've explored the Juneteenth Jamboree and all the different people that are behind this event here in Greater West Bloomfield, all the fun activities. And now it's time for the community to make their way out to the Civic Center complex and have that fun and those learning experiences themselves.
Yes, Tyler, I think it is time for the community to join you and I think at least we've earned some ice cream and some, I don't know, maybe, Tyler, some face painting for your next appearance on the Splash. We'll see how that goes. But looking forward to, again, coming together and celebrating what this day means, not only for West Bloomfield, but for our country as a whole.
You can learn more about the Juneteenth Jamboree on the West Bloomfield Parks website, wbparks.org/diversity for more information. It's also where you'll find info on how you can join the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. You don't have to be a member of Parks and Rec or the library or a volunteer organization. It is for everybody in the community to be able to organize events like this Juneteenth Jamboree today and others all throughout the year. That's our show. I want to remind you that television that's close to home is always online on CivicCenterTV.com and across our social media, Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, YouTube, X, and Instagram at Civic Center TV. Big thank you to our entire crew for putting on this special edition of the program. Ishan Desai and Jake Schaff out in the field. Back here at Master Control, Ryan Younglove and Calvin Brown. Alongside Thais Leverett, I'm Tyler Kieft, live, local, social. Thanks for joining us on The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.